guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I did remove my red hair, so if you see me with different hair color, I removed the red. I haven't done one of these videos for a long time. I used to love doing them and I used to love listening to them. I just randomly stopped. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about being a haunted attraction worker? Because if you have, I'm about to tell you some creepy things that people have witnessed on the job that may keep you from applying to this type of job. So today I'm going to be reading 18 haunted attraction workers discuss creepy things they have witnessed on the job. The first story is doors slam by themselves. The haunt that I work at is legitimately haunted. Pressure plates constantly being activated without anyone around. Doors slam by themselves. Actors see groups coming through that nobody else sees. It's quite unsettling. It gets worse after hours. Since our weekends are eaten up by our jobs here, many of the employees hang out in the building after hours. People have heard things moving in empty houses. Things are moved into strange and odd places or positions, and it intensifies as the season goes on. The weirdest thing is this crack in the floor of the second story. We call it the Gate of Hell. It's about 3 feet long and the thickest point is about 4 to 6 inches. It goes down probably about half a foot into the thick cement. Things keep popping up near that crack. Drag marks in the dust where you can see an object has been dragged. Shelves go missing and end up in that crack. People lose shoes and they end up there. All the employees know it's haunted. We all just kind of accept it. There is no way it could be a practical jokester. The plan is too elaborate and it's been happening almost every night since the haunt has opened almost 2 decades ago. I kind of thought this was gonna be about like doors slamming while like people go through the attraction and then the person that's playing the character is by themselves, because there's that period where they have to wait for people to come through, and I kind of assumed that's what it was gonna be about. A visitor wielded real hatchets. About 2 years ago, there was this guy who tried to scare the actors. I was dressed as a psychotic infected doctor, and all of a sudden this man ran through my room. I play my part and then he's gone. A few minutes later, I noticed him standing at the end of my room. I approached him in character, telling him to move on through the other rooms. No response. He was wielding 2 hatchets. He then laughed maniacally, hopefully I said that right, and ran from my haunt to the other haunts. There were 6 different themed haunts in the whole building trying to scare us. We were not sure what he was gonna do, so we called security. They couldn't find the guy because he ended up hiding in one of the haunts. They later found the guy and it turns out he was high on coke and he had intention to harm us. Glad we got him when we could. That kind of thing creeps me out because if like a killer or something goes through that attraction and you're dressed like in a scary costume, how are they gonna know that you're hurt? Like, I feel like even if you scream, people would probably think that it's part of the attraction. So I don't know, that kind of creeps me out. The Christian haunted house. That alone is scary. I'm just kidding. I didn't work there, but I went through a Christian haunted house in Tulsa. It was sponsored by some radical youth group. It was beyond creepy. Among the exhibits were a rotting alive drug addict laying in an alley and screaming maniacally. Why does this word keep coming up? I don't know how to say it. Maniacally. A dead woman bleeding profusely from her crotch with a coat hanger and mangled rubber doll representing her newly aborted baby laying next to her. What the heck? A woman with her children covered in cuts and bruises, covering from the drunk husband who was beating them. That seems so like church thing to do, to scare people like that. Like, I'm gonna probably have to put a like trigger warning at the beginning of this story because that's a little, honestly, that is creepy more than scary. Like, it is creepy for like a church attraction to do that. The next one says, someone ran through the wall. There was this old funeral home that had been converted into a haunted house. And this one time, someone came out of a casket and scared this poor large woman so much she ran through the wall into the lobby and out the door. Yes, I said through the wall. Straight up, I'm the juggernaut and went through it. It was literally something from the Looney Tunes. The home was really old and needed little cosmetics for Halloween, and the walls were made out of old sheetrock. They said she was screaming, "Oh Jesus, help me," in the parking lot as she got into her car. It was so damn funny. All the workers just stopped and laughed their heads off, as well as the rest of the people in line. It was one of the best Halloweens ever. I'm not understanding. Was that the character, or was a person that went through the attraction? If it was a person that went through the attraction, that's sad. Like, why would people be laughing when obviously that she saw something wrong? I don't understand that one. The next one says, people smeared waste all over the walls. I'm currently in my 5th year working at a haunt in Michigan. I have been punched, kicked, bit, spit on, and verbally mistreated. Okay, that alone would make me not want to work in that type of job. People come through drunk or high or both. A lot. All that pales in comparison the lows people are willing to sink to. It was a busy night 2 years ago. The place I work has both a haunted forest and a haunted house. The house has 2 floors. Upstairs has a theme while the basement is a chaotic maze. I work in the house on the top floor. We had a particularly Shirley group go through. Typical douchebags, nothing new. They get to the basement and have a slight altercation with one of the guys who works in the basement. They had pushed him and he had fell down. He was okay, but after the group left, a foul odor started to waft up from the depths of the maze. We went downstairs to try to figure out where the smell was coming from. It turns out the group of people had brought in plastic full of waste and had thrown it all over the basement. It wasn't your average log solid state consistency either. Gross! It was some horrible off-color liquidy mess that was almost impossible to clean up entirely. The worst part was the poor bastard who got shoved up by them fell right into the worst of it. So the rest of the night this guy was wandering around smearing stuff and the house reeked. We shut down for half an hour while we cleaned it up. Talk about gross. It ended up being a crappy night. This is not creepy, but ugh, that's gross. Why would you do that? Like, what makes people think it's okay to like go into someone's job or any type of location and do something like that? That's messed up. For a few years, I was a scare actor in my family's haunted attraction in Hawaii. It's an entire plantation village located in the rough town of Waipau. Hopefully I'm saying it correctly. For locals in Oahu, Waipau is known for some of the most rough around the edge youth and young adults. The entire attraction was tough for me to work because I'm already a weak person when it comes to anything remotely scary. It didn't help that this plantation village I would be working in has a dark history of supernatural events and creepy folklore. As for the worst of things I've witnessed, there were objects that would catch my peripherals of people walking past vacant homes on this plantation. I've even directly looked at windows in which the curtains would sway, yet there were no windows or doors open in these homes. There were multiple counts of other actors hearing the same children's noise from certain spots within the village. But they are still going strong with the event. In fact, it's become one of the nation's scariest attractions and easily Hawaii's best go-to thing for the Halloween month. YouTube Hawaii's Haunted Plantation. It's pretty sweet. That one's not so bad. I guess like it kind of goes along with working at a haunted attraction. Like, ooh, like you see something for your peripherals or something. I mean, honestly, I'd still be scared, but I'm just saying. Who put up that decoration is the next story. There's a big pumpkin patch about an hour away from my house that has an assortment of haunted houses and things like that. There is a haunted hayride ride for older kids that takes you through a small group of trees full of creepy decor and people in costumes ready to jump at you. They put a lot of money into it, and it's actually quite a ride. Well, one year, a lady unalived herself by hanging herself on one of the trees after the rides had closed for the night. She hung there for a couple days before people realized she wasn't just a decoration. Oh my God, you see what I mean? This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, if you're in a haunted attraction and something happens, like, how do you know if something is real? Okay, I'm gonna make this kind of short because my neighbors keep making a lot of noise, which is funny because I usually never have time to do videos, and right when I have time to do a video, there's a bunch of noise. Displayed a real dead bird. A kid found a dead bird on the ground while waiting outside. As a prank, he went inside and inserted it into a sensory box, which is a black box where people put their hands in and feel brains or something, even though it's actually spaghetti, etc. So everyone after him got a feel of brains and real dead bird without knowing it. Gross. Watch your kids. I'm going to read this last one, even though, like I said, I was going to be reading the last one. Like, this one caught my eye. He wanted to teach his daughter about Satan. I worked at one in Times Square, and a man brought in his very young daughter. This place is not for kids, and told us it was to teach her about Satan. He then used her as a human shield and ran and left her alone twice. Once before it started, and once when the chainsaw came out. We were thoroughly encouraged to torment the little girl. That is sad. What the heck is wrong with parents? I feel like this is another one of those like church cult people. I'm sorry, I'm just like not a church person. I grew up in the church and I have very bad experiences from the church. Even, I mean, look, I'm like scratching just from talking about it. I had bad experiences from church. So I feel like a lot of church people do stuff like this, like to try to teach their kids that something is bad by like tormenting them. I don't know. Let's not talk about that right now. But anyway, that was it for today. There's just a lot of noise that I've had to like make this video around, and it's just not gonna work. But I hope you like today's stories. I'm gonna try to do one every day this week. Don't hold me to it. But if you like this type of video, please hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.